Albany in Western Australia. Here on this striking coastline, the HMB Endeavour is docked for a few days, waiting to set sail across the Great Australian Bight. Well, behind me you can see the crew boarding now. It's a voluntary crew made up of a number of people coming from all walks of life, some who've sailed before, some who haven't. And we're all going to head on board, learn some 18th century navigation techniques on our way to South Australia. We threw off the ropes and headed out to sea. And that first day we listened to safety briefings as well as talks on the mechanics of the ship and our roles on board.
I know people look at the labyrinth of the masts and the yards and the spars and the rigging and all the rest. It all looks a bit complicated, but in rawness it is a very simplistic sailing. You know the lines, you drop the sails, and you're basically sailing a 500-ton ship through the water. It's wonderful stuff.
We learned a host of new sailing skills, from taking the helm to keeping watch to climbing the mast, and slipped into the rhythm of shipboard routine. 4 hours on and 4 hours off around the clock, sleeping in hammocks and eating swiftly between shifts. In between, we found time to write in our journals. Some helped prepare food for the galley. Others tried their luck at fishing or looking out for whales. We all had our personal challenges and our private highs.
I think the physical element of working on this ship, of hauling sail and getting up onto the yards and putting yourself out there at risk physically and coming back down with that sense of satisfaction that you managed to climb up there and haul in this heavy sail.
Those first few days, the weather was sunny and fair and the seas calm, but many of us were longing for better sailing weather. We headed south towards the roaring 40s, and right on cue, the wind picked up.
Wind is in the southerly direction, force 7, and we're doing about 7 to 9 knots depending on the swell.
It became tougher to take the helm and follow a course in the heavy seas, but we all pulled together, braced against the elements, and cherishing our time under sail.
There is this eternal romanticism that is connected with the sea, and being at sea under sail, particularly under square sail.
Wife sees me with a mop in my hand. I'll never be able to live it down.
On the ship's recent circumnavigation of Australia, it was consistently at near full capacity, in spite of the very simple living conditions, the hard work, and the high price tag. Joining a leg like this can cost thousands of dollars.
The hardest thing I found was living so closely with so many people. When you're fatigued, you've been on watch at all hours during the night, you couldn't get to sleep. It gets hard to continue, but all you have to do is just smile and the sun shines again, and then you find yourself in a beautiful place.
Well, after 2 weeks at sea, crossing the Great Australian Bight, and over 1,300 nautical miles, we've arrived in Port Lincoln in South Australia. We watched the land rise up as boats jostled in the waters around us, curious to get a closer look at the ship. It had been an exhilarating journey, and it became clear why this kind of sailing has become so popular.
It is people looking for something different, a little bit more adventurous. I'm always surprised at some of the people that have come out, no sailing experience. They've done the holidays, they've done the Asian hotels and things like that, and they've just randomly said they just want to try something new, and they've done it, and they've done it really well. So it's a hard one to pick, but they have to be aware that it is hard work, bit of sleep deprivation, but a very healthy way to see the sea.